You're listening to ESOPod, the Folience ESOP podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to ESOPod. I'm Shawn Hoy. This is the Folience ESOP podcast, and today I'm joined by a few people. We're going to talk about statements. I know that everyone just got their statement and it was really exciting. Wanted to get some perspective on maybe some folks who haven't gotten as many. And so I've collected these folks here. I'm going to have you go around. Why don't you tell us your name, your role here at Folience, and how long you've been an employee owner. So, Corey, let's start with you.
Corey Miller, the help desk manager. I've been on for almost 4 years. So next month it'll be 4 years. So far so good.
All right, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Kavanaugh, and I'm the senior accountant at Folience Shared Services, and I've been at Folience for about 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years in November.
And Alex, you're last.
And I'm Alex Gallegos. I'm a systems administrator here at Folience. I'm sure Shawn has no idea what that title entails. And I just passed my 3-year anniversary a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah, we have a pretty good spread here. I'm here. I've been here 16 years. So yeah, I'm also a systems administrator. Okay, let's talk about when you first started. So what did you actually understand about ESOP and what that was and what employee owned meant? Did that mean anything to you when you started? Corey, you can start us off.
I read about it. I didn't fully understand how that worked. It sounded interesting. And actually, just talking about it, one of the main reasons I left where I was before is it was didn't have much of a retirement. I had a 401k, but it was poorly managed. Didn't do so great. So I thought this sounded like it had a better opportunity than where I was.
All right, Sarah.
Yeah, similar to Corey, I didn't have, I mean, I've heard the term employee owned before, but I'd never heard the term ESOP, like kind of a similar experience. It was in the materials I got when I was interviewing and I was looking things up. Kind of after that, it was not something I had any experience with before.
How about you, Alex?
Kind of the same story for me. I definitely heard at a conceptual level that there were employee-owned companies. I would see the same thing every time I went to go get groceries. That it's like, oh, Hy-Vee is an employee-owned company. It's like, okay, great, happy for them. But I definitely never heard specifically of an ESOP program or what that entailed before I had come here. No.
I'll go ahead and answer these two because that'll be fun. So when I started, we weren't 100% ESOP. And so I feel like the education just wasn't really there. It wasn't like a selling point. And so it was actually later after I had started that it kind of became more of an important thing to me, at least personally. All right. So we just got our statements a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Time is evaporating this year. So thinking back to maybe that first time you got a statement, what was your reaction like when you saw real numbers? And has that reaction changed over time that you've gotten 2 or 3 statements?
I was really impressed. First time I opened a statement, it was about 2 years ago. So the first year I just didn't quite make it, but the second year I was here, I qualified for the disbursement, and it was pleasant. It was very nice. It was almost more than I had saved in the 10 years where I worked prior, and just the 2 years I had been there in that first disbursement. So it was very nice, or I guess a year and a half. So, and every year just it beats my expectations as far as stock value growth, especially this year. It was nuts. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, I would say it's was similar for me. I think when I first started, there were some numbers thrown around of like, oh, this is what we generally do, but it feels more abstract when you're not in it yet. And it's kind of one of those things where, okay, until I have my account and I see if those numbers actually come to fruition. But so it felt more real once you got that statement, and it was super impressive. And like Corey said, even this statement that we just got, I was so surprised at not just the allocation for this year, but like the growth in what I had from the year before was exciting too. And I kind of had the opposite experience of Corey, where I came from somewhere where the employer did a 10% 401k match. They would just give you 10%, which was an incredible benefit and is not something that many places do. So you kind of have that, you have to make a choice of like, okay, this is a benefit that nobody ever offers this. So if you're going to leave, you just have to kind of forget that that ever happened. You're never going to replicate that anywhere. And then I came here and it was shocking to me that this was actually more than the 10%. And so just going from one plan to another that was even better was just, I feel very fortunate that I was able to experience that. And I never thought it'd be possible to exceed that 10% that I was getting before.
right,
For
Alex?
me, it's I had a very similar experience as everybody else. It's you open it up, you take a look at it, and I was kind of in the same boat that previous places had offered a decent 401k match, and I ran the numbers on it, and the statement before this one was the very first statement that I had ever received, and it was like between 18 and 19% of what I had socked away over 17 years previously of contributing to 401ks, and that's just in a single year. And it's like, you punch those numbers into a calculator and it makes a happy face. And I was not only favorably impressed, but then you start to think about, like, that's just 1 year, and the effects after, what's it going to look like in 5 years or 10 years, and it starts to paint a really impressive picture of what the future could look like, and probably a different picture of what you were thinking of even 12 months before. And that's really the most eye-opening thing.
I sort of feel like I am at that point where it kind of starts to snowball and get exciting. So I feel like every time I open a statement, it's like, sweet. Like, yeah, it's definitely exciting. And definitely going back to when I first opened a statement, like I said, we weren't 100% then. And so it was, I think I got it in the mail and like, well, I don't know, what is this? And just got rid of it pretty much. Now that you have that ESOP and you're getting the statements and it's exciting, how has that changed conversations that you have about money or the future or retirement with the people in your life, like kids or family or friends or the neighbor?
Well, I have some older kids, and I talk to them about it. So actually, my middle son currently works for an ESOP construction company, and he just got back from doing some training with National Guard, and he's looking for a new job with the skill set he has. And I go, you should consider seeing if you could get a higher position where you are now, because it's an ESOP. Like, the retirement benefits are excellent, because he's already said he wants to work for a place where he can stay there and work throughout his career. And I go, you should really look at where you are now, since it's an ESOP, because again, like, the benefits are amazing compared to just a normal corporate job, So that discussion's come up a few times with the older kids I got, for sure.
Yeah, I think for me, after getting my second statement this year, my husband and I have this, we have our shared Google spreadsheet where we just put our retirement balances, 401ks, things like that. And I told him, oh, we got our statements today. Like, I need to go update the spreadsheet. And he's like, oh, I have it open. How much is it? And I read the number out loud and he went, already? It's like, yeah, I know that's crazy, isn't it? He's like, but last year it was this and now it's already here. And I said, yes, it's already there. Granted, I haven't fully vested yet, but it's gone by so quickly and I'm almost at 3 years and I'll be at 40% already at that time. And yeah, just the level of growth is exciting. And like Alex said, it really changes that trajectory when you put in those numbers and you see the compound growth over time. It really is an unexpected source of, just a whole nother source of retirement income that I wasn't planning on originally. It's very exciting and comforting to have that.
For myself, it's I don't really have any close beneficiaries or anything, but I definitely change conversations with friends and everything. I'll have people that tell me they're thinking about looking for work, and I'll say, hey, are there any employee-owned companies in your area? Look for any of those. See if you can get in with an employee-owned company, because it's one of those things that once you get into it and get excited about it, you can't help but want to tell other people about the benefits and get other people on board. Because I still see people working at, the company that I came from, or companies that aren't making them happy and that are just not providing the benefit in the long term. And it's like, yeah, get out of there and do something that is going to benefit you in the long run, and that you can work toward building something that you can be proud of and that has a lasting benefit.
I'll say for me, it's stability. It's another bucket to put things into, especially people my age may be a little wary of like what Social Security is going to look like when I'm ready to retire, and so I think this is just a safety net almost, or like another thing to have, and it's it's definitely changed conversations with my wife for sure. Basically, never leave, which I don't plan to, but yeah, it's fun to watch it grow, and it kind of encourages you to stay longer, really. Okay, so not directly related to the ESOP, but for folks who came from somewhere that was not employee owned, which I think was probably most of us or all of us, is there anything that surprised you, or what surprised you most about working somewhere employee owned like Folience?
I would say the work ethic and the buy-in from the normal everyday employee owner. Everyone cares. Like, everyone wants to do a good job. I personally see, an impact on what I contribute to the company. Every dollar spent, every hour worked, like, it has a positive impact. It's meaningful. um, so it's, the first time went out to lunch with Paul, and I thanked him for buying lunch. He used the company card, and he goes, "No, thank you." I was like, "What?" And I had to put one and one together. It was because it wasn't just the company paying for it; it was all of us paying for lunch when we were out doing that. So it was a different way to think about things, and I think about that every time I'm buying something or every time I'm pricing something out.
I think for me, I was surprised at the employee ownership not just being a once a year, here's your statement, here's how the financials shake out, this is what it is, but it's a conversation that's ongoing all the time. It's not just focusing on what's your allocation, but you are an employee owner and here's what you can do to impact that, and how integrated that is into the culture every day was just something I wasn't expecting, but that I really do enjoy. And like Corey said, there was a lot of buy-in. People care. People want to do a good job, and so it's extra satisfying to see that statement come through, and you feel like I did my part, and we're all reaping the rewards together.
Yeah, I'll absolutely echo that. There's a there's a vast difference in the company culture when not only people are working together towards the same goal and people are working for themselves for a company that we all own together, as opposed to something that is owned by private equity or owned by a small number of shareholders that hold all the purse strings. But beyond that, it really changes the culture in a positive way, um, that like I would notice when I first started how much we all talk about ownership, the concept of it, uh, and how we would all come together at various meetings, and like Todd especially will talk about how everybody's an owner, but really it's everybody, and it's constant messaging, not just from people at the top, but everybody at all levels. And I think until you've been exposed to the culture for a little bit, it takes a while to understand that that really is something that everybody believes in and understands that it's something we're all working towards together, um, as opposed to at a company that's not employee owned, where it's like, oh yeah, we're all in this together and think about what's good for the company, but really it's what's good for the people that are making the most money from the company.
Yeah, I feel like I could just repeat all the same things you guys said. For me, it's almost like the consistency of people being engaged and uh, wanting to make things better is kind of what surprises me as I started, and even just every day to this day. Is it's not something that just goes away. It's everyone seems to be trying to move things forward. How can we improve and make this better for everyone? Okay, well, I appreciate everyone joining me. And so we're going to kind of wrap things up. But before we go, I want to have you pretend that you're sitting across from a brand new hire. It's their first day. And what's one thing that you would tell them about being an owner here at Folience?
Say, stick it out. You know, it's worth it. You know, you can grow here. There's so many people that have been part of this company in so many different ways and have, gained experience and position and title and wages and retirement. It's worth sticking it out. You know, there's positive leadership looking to grow the company. This is a good place to work. It's very rewarding.
Very well said, Corey. I would say something similar. Give it a chance. What people are telling you in your interview process or your onboarding about what it means to be an employee owner, like that's not something you're just going to hear one time and you're never going to feel that again. It's really true. It's very important here. Everyone is great to work with and very bought into the culture of employee ownership. And it's really something to be proud to be a part of.
I'd probably say that there's a real sense of there's a real bond between everybody here, all of the employees, um, that is not just it's more than just being coworkers, and it's all based on the idea that we have a shared goal and we all know what we're working towards. We all know what we want to achieve together. And that really helps bring into focus what we want to achieve as a company and as individuals, so that we can all thrive together.
I think I would say, if you want to know more, or if you are interested in what ESOP is or employee ownership, just get involved, ask to join a team or go to a conference, and if nothing else, you'll learn about what it is. And I think that by itself will be important, and you'll learn and decide if it's for you or not for you for some reason. Okay, well, everybody, thanks so much for joining me. It was a great conversation. Hope you all have a good day.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Shawn.
Yeah, thanks, Shawn.
Thanks for listening to ESOPod. If you want to get in touch, send me an email at esopod@folience.com.